Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another monthly plan with me, and in today's video I'm setting up my bullet journal for June. I can't believe we're already 6 months into the year, which also means that this will be my last setup in this journal before I move to my second journal for 2024. I'm very excited for this month's setup. I haven't done a full painted setup in a long time, and in today's video I'm using gouache paint for all of the full page illustrations. The theme for this month is inspired by Fallout. You might have seen the new series that came out recently, and it's quickly become one of my favorite shows. But I've known Fallout much longer. I've been playing Fallout 4 on PC for years now, and the new series just made me fall back into the game. Fallout 4 is a post-apocalyptic game where in the year 2077 nuclear bombs fell and most of the world was left in rubble. As a result of the blasts, exposure to radiation, and the collapse of the social and government structures, the world was changed into a wasteland. Some things did survive though, but they were forever changed. The Fallout world looks like it's set in the 1950s because it's designed to fit into a retro-futuristic aesthetic. So basically, they took what people in the 50s imagined the future might look like. I decided to go with this logo cover page that shows some nuclear bombs falling with their mushroom clouds and the destroyed city in the background. For the colors, I just mixed a little bit of yellow into white gouache paint, and I wanted it to be more of a faded yellow than a cream color, so I just kept adding very little yellow at a time until I was happy with the color. For the shadows in the clouds, I mixed in a little bit of gray to the yellow that I made and used that color to add the shadows on the clouds as well as the letters. I'm using my Sakura Micron liner pens to line the nuclear clouds and add some detail. I was planning on using my black gouache paint, but when I finally got the container open, it was completely dry. So I had to go for the next best thing, my ink bottle. I was so scared that it was gonna bleed through the paper, but no, it actually held the ink really well. I was very surprised. Well done, notebook therapy. Right behind the clouds, you can see some structures that have already been destroyed, and you can see the silhouette of the skyline. The Fallout boy holding up his thumb is basically the mascot for Vault-Tec, which is the company in Fallout that built the vault shelters and sold them to people before the bombs fell. The Fallout boy is holding up his thumb because the theory was that if you ever saw a nuclear bomb dropped, you could identify it by the mushroom shape of the clouds, and if you held up your thumb at arm's length and looked through one eye, if the cloud was smaller than your thumb, you were far enough to be able to run to relative safety. But if the cloud was bigger than your thumb, then yeah. I liked adding these sunglasses to the Fallout boy. It is summer at the moment where I live, so I think it works well with this season. On the second page, I wanted a month at a glance page where I could write down all of my events and some important tasks that I have to do this month. I'm using some tea stained paper to cover the entire page. The stain adds some age to the paper and makes it look like it's been used and maybe even sat somewhere in a drawer for many years. At the top of the page, I'm starting with the Vault-Tec logo. The idea with this page is to kind of resemble a random Vault-Tec document, maybe. For the font on this page, I tried to mimic some common Fallout fonts that I found on Google and Pinterest. This to-do list is a master to-do list where I can write down the main tasks for this month. On this page, I of course needed to add another Vault boy, this one advertising and asking people to sign up to the vaults. And on that note, remember to hit that subscribe button for more bullet journal content monthly. Lastly, I'm using my Distress ink pad to really dirty up the page edges and corners. The Distress ink also darkens the folds and wrinkles in the paper and makes them look dirty. Next up is my double page calendar. This is a big calendar where I write my appointments, birthdays, school events, or projects with deadlines. I like to be able to see everything laid out on the calendar. It really helps me visualize my month and helps me with time management, which I, in general, struggle with. Firstly, I'm taping the calendar with some washi tape because I'm going to be using gouache paint on the background, and the washi tape will help the calendar lines stay nice and crisp. The people that live in the vaults all have the same vault suits on. These suits are famously blue and yellow, the colors of Vault-Tec. So I'm mainly using these two colors on this spread. I went over the areas with a few layers, waiting for the paint to dry between each layer. I wanted to make sure that the color was nice and solid and not too transparent or uneven. For the Vault boy, I'm using the same colors. For his suit and for his hair, I'm using a slightly brighter yellow. Once the paint is dry, or once the paint was dry, I removed the washi tape and used my Sakura micron liner pens to draw in the details on the Vault boy. The calendar is just a simple layout with the days of the week at the top. I prefer to start my calendar week on Mondays. So that's the format I'm using here. For my habit tracker this month, it was almost too easy to decide the layout. I used a circle habit tracker last year in one of my monthly setups in my 2023 bullet journal. So I thought it would be nice to bring it back, and with the 𝒊𝒔𝒄 logo being a circle, it just made sense to turn the entire logo into my habit tracker. I forgot how fun it was to plan out and draw these circle habit trackers. For June, I'm tracking 4 habits, but you could easily add more habits by adding just another line. For the 𝒊𝒔𝒄 heading, I'm using my yellow Sakura brush pen. This is also the color I'm going to be using to track the habits. The next spread is one I haven't done before. I really wanted to make a 50s style ad in this setup, focusing on Nuka-Cola, which is the cola brand in the Fallout universe, and it's such a big part of Fallout. But I didn't have a spread to add it to. And I didn't just want a random page that I didn't use during the month, because I knew I would end up never looking at it. So I thought of trying out a mood tracker for June and see if I enjoy using it, or if I even use it at all. Spoiler, I love using it, and now I get to look at this page every day. I'm again using gouache for this page. Recording this page came with a few mishaps though. Because I use so many layers, I had to stop in between to let the layers dry. And with starting and stopping my camera, and then my phone started to overheat, which meant the camera kept turning itself off. So with all of this happening, I did lose some of the footage, but hopefully you won't notice too much of a gap. So in the Fallout world, after the Great War, the government fell apart, and with it the value and concept of money, and people went back to the barter system. But eventually they started finding Nuka-Cola caps everywhere, and people started to trade using the caps, and eventually caps just became the new currency. At least that's how I think it happened. So for the mood tracker part of this page, I wanted to use some caps, but I really did not want to draw 30 caps on top of gouache paint. So I ended up printing them, cutting them out and gluing them on top of the paint. Here at the bottom, I'm adding in the mood tracker key. I decided to go with a basic "how was your day" system instead of specific emotions or whatever. So if I have a good day, a great day, a difficult day, or a terrible day, I'll use these colors to color in the caps. Let's move on to my weekly spreads. I'm only going to be setting up the first week for June in this video. The rest of the weeks I'll be setting up every week over on Instagram. If you'd like to see how I set up the rest of the weeklies, be sure to go over to Instagram and follow me at 𝐒𝐴𝑍_crafty_world, or just look up 𝐒𝐴𝑍 Crafty World for more bullet journal content. So a few main things that I wanted to include in this month's weeklies. I wanted to try out sleep tracking. I've been wanting to try it out for a while now. I think it'll be interesting to see how much sleep I'm getting and making sure I get enough sleep every night. I also wanted to include a weather tracker, nothing too complex, just writing down the temperature in Celsius and draw a little doodle to show the weather for each day. And lastly, for each day, I wanted a section where I can write a short note and then a to-do list section separately. Here's a little sneak peek at the next weekly spreads. The last page for this month, as well as this bullet journal, is another new spread I'm trying out for this month, which is a monthly review page. A basic page in layout. I just wanted a space where I could write down any media that I've consumed and tally up some of the things that I'm going to track this month, like sleeping and the weather. We'll see how I like using this page. It might be a permanent addition to my bullet journal layout, but we'll see. I am really excited to start planning my volume 2 bullet journal for 2024. This is actually the next thing I'm going to be doing after this spread. I have a few new ideas for spreads that I'm itching to try out. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so that you'll get notified when I upload my next bullet journal video. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit nichey with Fallout being the theme for this monthly setup. I feel like it's a bit more relevant because of this series. So now if you're not a gamer, you might know what I'm talking about if you watch the new series. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, and until next time, I hope that you have a very crafty day.